All right, so moving on to this last set of problems, and on the test, this will be the last set of problems as well as this type of problem. Looking at 21 and 22, and they're asking us for the remainder of the worksheet, the remainder of this review worksheet, we want to solve each right triangle. And they actually remind us what that means too, which is really nice of them. But to solve these right triangles just means to find the length of each side and the measure of each angle. And they tell us they want us to round to the nearest hundredth for side lengths, nearest degree for angles. So let's look at number 21. So number 21, we have the triangle ABC, so we know that we need measure of angle A, measure of angle B, and the measure of angle C. And then we know we need the sides AB, BC, and CA. Well, lucky for us, they actually give us, right off the bat, they give us 3 of these things. Okay, and we can see that the measure of angle A is 53 degrees. The measure of angle C is 90 degrees. And BC is 10 feet. Well, that's a pretty good start. We're halfway there. Now notice this is one type of these right triangle problems where they give us the angle. And if they give us an angle first, a side and an angle, then we're going to find the other one. And all we're going to do is take that angle and subtract from 90. That's 37. So this angle up here is 37. Angle B is 37 degrees. You say, why do you subtract from 90? Well, we know this right angle is 90, and these are all right triangles, right? So if we were to start by subtracting from 90, we're always going to have 90 left over. I'm sorry, subtracting from 180. We're always going to have 90 left over. So we just take this angle and subtract it from 90, and we get the other angle. Now once we've done that, now we need to go back and start our the real trigonometry work. Right? So now we're going to use SOHCAHTOA to find the side lengths. SOHCAHTOA. And remember, we're always going to start with what they give us. Start with and use what they give us. So here's 53. This side's the hypotenuse. This side is next to it, so it's adjacent. And this side over here, well, that's opposite. So I know that since they gave me the opposite side, I'm only going to use the opposite side. So I'm going to use sine and I'm going to use tangent. I'm never going to use cosine. Never going to use cosine. So here we go. We're going to start with the sine. So the sine of 53 is 10, or opposite, over hypotenuse, or over h. And we just want to find h now in order to get that side. So we times it by the denominator, times by h. H sine of 53 equals 10. And then divide by the sine of 53. And once we get h alone, just like the problems we started with, we can just type that into our calculator. So here's the calculator part. We're just typing it in exactly how we see it. 10 divided by the sine of 53. And we get 12.52. Because remember, we're rounding to the nearest hundredth. So 12.52 feet. And h was the side AB, so we can write this up here, 12.52 feet. Now to find A, we have opposite and adjacent, so that's going to be tangent. So the tangent of 53 equals the opposite, which is 10, over the adjacent, A. So we're going to times by A, or times by the denominator. A tan of 53 equals 10, and we divide by tan of 53 to get A alone. Once A is alone, we just type that into our calculator as well. So 10 over the tan, or divided by the tan of 53, is 7.52. and here's the hundredths place. So we're going to round up to 7.54 feet. And remember, that's one whole problem, right? Is that list right there. So then if we look at 22, we see the exact same situation. They've given us two angles, right? So we have triangle QRS. So we need the measure of angle Q, measure of angle R, measure of angle S. And we need QR, RS, and SQ. Again, they've given us the measure of angle R, which is 90, and the measure of angle S, which is 56. And they've given us RS, which is 14 kilometers. So to find this last angle, we're just going to take 90 and subtract 56. We're going to get 34. This last angle Q is 34 degrees. Now we're going to do our trig work with SOHCAHTOA. So we're using SOHCAHTOA. Remember, we're only using what they gave us. So here's our angle, 56. Here's the hypotenuse. We'll call it the variable h. Next to the angle is adjacent, or A. And then across from the angle is opposite, or we'll call it the variable O. So if I want to find O, right, I'm doing opposite, and they gave me adjacent, so I'm going to use TOA. Right, so tangent of 56 equals opposite, or O, over adjacent, 14. I'm just going to times by 14 on both sides. And look, O is alone now. So I'm just going to type that into the calculator. Once O is alone, just type that exactly into the calculator. So we're doing 14 tan of 56, and that equals 20.76 when we round to the nearest hundredth. So 20.76 kilometers. Now O was side QR, so this is 20.76 kilometers. Now if we want to solve for H, well, we take this angle, 56, we have A and H, that's cosine. So we're going to do the cosine of 56 equals A, which is 14, over the variable H. So now we just times by the denominator on both sides. H cosine of 56 equals 14. And then to get H alone, we divide by the cosine of 56. H equals, and now that H is alone, we just type it into the calculator. So 14 divided by cosine of 56. 25.04 kilometers. That whole thing is our answer.